The council room fell silent as the door hissed open. Heavy boots echoed. A single human stepped in, General Talia Rayne. Her face showed no fear, no emotion, just cold focus. The Galactic Empire's top leaders, alien warlords, shadow ministers, and high generals sat watching. Some smirked, others laughed softly. A few whispered. Talia was alone. Earth's only voice in the room. They mocked her behind fake smiles. Her army was small, her planet scarred, her daughters dead. The galaxy had moved on, but Talia didn't come to beg. She didn't come to fight. She came to ask one question. She stepped forward, looked each alien in the eye, and said in a clear, sharp voice, "Who murdered my daughters?" The room froze. Every breath stopped. Every laugh died. No one spoke. Talia's eyes didn't blink. Behind her calm, something dangerous was waking. Everyone thought Earth was weak, but they forgot what happens when a mother has nothing left to lose. That day, a storm entered the council chamber, and it wore the face of a human general. Part 2 ChatGPT said, long before that deadly question shook the council room, Talia's daughters had vanished. They were not ordinary soldiers. They were Earth's youngest elite pilots, trained in secret, faster and smarter than most adults in the fleet. The mission they accepted was dangerous, but they believed in peace. Their destination, the Zarnok sector, deep in disputed space. Officially, it was a diplomatic visit. Unofficially, Talia warned them, don't trust anyone. 2 weeks after departure, their ship disappeared. The Galactic Empire claimed it was a system failure. No survivors, they said. No bodies, no ship. Just silence. But Talia received something no one else did, a hidden message sent moments before the crash. The signal was weak, broken, but her daughter's terrified voices came through. One whispered, "They betrayed us." The other said, "Mom, don't believe them." Then static, then nothing. Talia kept this message secret. She studied every word, every sound. And now, standing before the very leaders who sent her, daughters to their deaths, she was ready to expose the truth. What happened in Zarnok was no accident. It was murder, covered in silence. Talia stood inside her private command ship, staring at the old transmission again. Her daughter's voices haunted her, broken, scared, and full of secrets. The audio wasn't just a goodbye. It was a warning. She ran the message through a classified system. This time, something new appeared, a hidden frequency buried under the static. A signal, encrypted. Someone had tried to erase it, but not well enough. After decoding, a single line came out. "We were ambushed. Someone inside the Empire set us up." Talia's heart turned cold. This wasn't sabotage, this was betrayal, from someone powerful, someone close to the top. She traced the signal's last bounce. It led to a military station near the edge of the Arcan Nebula, controlled by one being, General Rusk. He had always hated humans. Called Earth a primitive rock, and now evidence pointed to his station. Talia didn't wait. She ordered her ship toward Arcan. No more questions, no more patience. She was done following rules. Whoever killed her daughters was going to face her, and this time she wasn't walking away quietly. Talia's warship dropped out of hyperspace near the Arcan military station. Alarms triggered the moment she arrived, but she didn't care. She was not here for diplomacy. She walked straight into the command center where General Rusk sat on a throne-like chair, surrounded by armed guards. His skin was dark green, his eyes like burning coals, and his mouth curled into a cruel smile. "Well, if it isn't Earth's grieving mother," he said. "Still chasing ghosts?" Talia didn't flinch. "You were the last one to see their ship on radar. You rerouted them." Rusk laughed. They disobeyed orders. Their deaths were unfortunate. He leaned closer. Maybe your daughters weren't strong enough. That was the moment Talia pressed a small device in her hand. Hidden inside her jacket, a recorder had captured every word. His smirk disappeared. She stepped back, eyes locked on his. You just admitted involvement in a war crime, and now I have your voice. The guards reached for their weapons, but she was already gone. A cloaked exit, a waiting ship. This wasn't revenge. This was just the beginning. Back on her ship, Talia opened a secure lab buried deep inside the vessel, accessible only to her. She placed a small sealed vial on the scanner. Inside was a burnt, blackened scrap of tissue, recovered secretly from the crash site the Empire never admitted existed. It wasn't much, but it was enough. The computer ran a full DNA analysis. Talia waited, silent, staring at the screen. Then the results appeared. It wasn't her daughter's DNA. The tissue belonged to someone else. A hybrid, something half human, half alien. But what shook her was the second result. Matched genome. Patterns, Rayne family, 46%. Her daughters had been used. Their blood, their genes, taken without permission. She checked the logs again. A forbidden project flashed across the screen. Project Rebirth, terminated by order of Admiral Vaughn. But why were her daughters near a genetic experiment that should have been shut down years ago? And worse, what had they discovered? Talia's hands clenched into fists. Someone had used them, lied to them, and then made sure they would never speak again. A strange signal pinged Talia's comms, an old Earth military code long retired. It repeated one word: Survivor. The source came from a forgotten moon base, Delta 9, abandoned after the last border war. No reason any signal should come from there. Talia changed course immediately. When she arrived, the base was half buried, in ice, dark and silent. But inside, behind sealed doors and broken lights, she found something impossible. A man lay on a medical table, barely alive, breathing through damaged lungs. His uniform was torn, but the patch was clear, same mission as her daughters. She rushed to him. What happened? His eyes opened slowly. It wasn't a mission, it was a setup. Talia froze. By who? He coughed blood. They found Project Rebirth. They tried to shut it down, but someone didn't want the truth out, so they were silenced. Talia leaned in. Who gave the order? The man whispered a name. Then his heart monitor flatlined. The name he gave was someone Talia once trusted with her life. The Galactic Council gathered again, unaware that Talia Rayne had returned with proof and a plan. She walked into the chamber slowly, calm but dangerous. Her voice echoed through the silence. You hid the truth. You killed my daughters. Now, I bring justice. Then she tapped her wrist console. The giant hollow screen behind the council lit up, live footage from deep beneath their own chamber. A bomb, armed, quiet, waiting. Gasps filled the room. Leaders jumped from their seats. Security ran toward the exits. Talia raised her hand. Don't bother. You have 5 minutes to tell the galaxy what really happened in Zarnok, or I end this council today. Some begged, some shouted, but the loudest voice came from the shadows. Chancellor Drek, the Empire's highest voice. His hands shook. He spoke into the mic. We lied. The mission was never peaceful. They found our experiment. We ordered them removed. It was approved. From the top. The room broke into chaos. The truth was out. And Talia. She watched with steel in her eyes. This was never just about revenge. It was about making them all answer. ChatGPT said, just as the council chamber spiraled into panic, Talia's earpiece buzzed with a private signal, a voice she hadn't heard in years. You've come far, Talia, but not far enough. Her blood ran cold. Admiral Vaughn, her mentor, her family's protector after her husband died, the man who trained her and her daughters. His face appeared on the holoscreen, calm and cold. He stood aboard a cloaked battleship in deep space. "You were never supposed to find out," he said. "Your daughters uncovered Project Rebirth's secret location. They threatened to expose it. I had no choice." Talia's fists trembled. "You sent them to die." "I gave them a chance to walk away," Vaughn replied. "They didn't. They chose truth over duty, and they paid the price." Behind him, scientists moved around vats of glowing fluid, part human hybrids growing inside. Project Rebirth hadn't ended. It had evolved. Talia stepped forward, fury in her eyes. "You killed my family to build monsters." Vaughn only smiled. "Not monsters. Survivors. The next phase of life." Talia ended the call. Now she knew her true enemy, and she was going to bring him down. Talia locked on to the cloaked battleship's last coordinates, deep in the Wraith Belt, a zone where signals vanish and ships disappear. No backup, no allies, just her. She boarded her fighter alone, eyes sharp, jaw set. This was not a mission. This was judgment. Inside the battleship, Vaughn waited. He wore no armor, just his old admiral's coat, as if expecting her. "You've come to kill me," he said. Talia said nothing. She drew her plasma blade. Their fight was brutal, two legends clashing in silence. Sparks flew, metal screamed, old wounds opened. But it wasn't just a battle of weapons, it was heart versus betrayal. "You trained my daughters," she shouted, swinging hard, "and then you buried them." "They were in the way," he growled. "I gave them a future." Talia disarmed. Him blade at his throat, but she didn't strike. Instead, she turned on her wrist cam, recording everything. "Let the galaxy see what a monster looks like," she said. Moments later, Vaughn was cuffed and dragged onto her ship. She wasn't a killer. She was their justice. ChatGPT said the galaxy watched as Admiral Vaughn was brought before the tribunal. His crimes broadcast across every world, every system. Evidence Talia collected, audio, DNA records, video footage, left no room for lies. The truth was brutal. Project Rebirth had stolen lives, silenced voices, and buried justice under power. And at the center of it all were her daughters. They weren't just victims. They were heroes who stood up when others stayed silent. And now, because of their mother, the stars knew their names. As Vaughn was sentenced to life on the prison moon Erebus, the crowd outside chanted, "For rain, for truth, for earth." But Talia didn't stay for celebration. She stood alone at the edge of her home planet, looking out into the stars. A small silver pendant hung around her neck. Her daughter's flight badges melted into one. Peace didn't heal her pain, but it gave their deaths meaning. And somewhere out there, she knew the truth would always rise when one voice dares to stand. The galaxy had laughed at the human general. Now, it saluted her.